Okay, so I got another TwoSun here. I'm gonna do I'm gonna take it out of this box and I'm gonna clean it up and disassemble it and go through it, get it checked in, strop it if it needs to on the edge, and kind of go through my process of how I take in a knife. So, typical TwoSun packaging. It's got probably 2 bags here, bunch of tape, and we'll see what we find in here. It is a oily mess. Whew, look at it. So cool. And listen, I don't mind all that oil. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That doesn't bother me a bit. I mean, they're just trying to protect these knives and get them to you so that they're not corroded and messy, or I guess they are messy, but not in a bad way. So let me get an initial wipe down on it. Try to get this exterior oil off it. We can take a look at it. This is the TwoSun TS36. And it's in D2. Obviously, it's been anodized. And it's got, man, this micarta is really nice. I'm going to say that's black micarta pocket clip. I can already tell that's going to be a good one. And this anodizing, I like it. I've been picking up knives with it on there now, like it's a big thing. And I like it. It really does smooth the knife off. If it was a full titanium, I've got some that are full titanium and they're anodized. They are so slick that I'm not sure. I think I'd rather have the raw titanium if it's actually going to be something I'm going to put in my pocket and carry. But this with that micarta, I mean, it's pretty slick too. It's pretty slick, but it's really fine. Look at that micarta. I really like it. The transition's really good here. Same here. Nice pocket clip. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, kind of weak detent. Yeah, very weak. But let's give her. That action ain't the best. Really having to shake that down. And then that detent's super weak. TS36 D2. Night morning. Yeah, let's get it taken apart. Get it checked in properly. Might help that action. That screw wasn't tight at all. T8s. Notice one holding that scale on too. I'm probably not going to take that one off. This one here that holds this scale on. There's no relief cuts in here to the back side of that scale, so I don't really see any need to take that off. There's a lot of oil in here. I don't know if that's dirty or clean in there. It looks dirty to me, but let's take a look here. We've got our little racetrack washer, bearing, and the amount of debris in there is fairly significant. Yeah. Get that pin out. This other set of washers. Yeah, just to, that back spacer out. Just so I can wipe it all down real quick. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I could go further and take this clip off, but I'll probably just tack it on the inside. It's a T8, super tight. Yep, there's no reason for me to get into that. So let's get it cleaned up and we'll put her back together and check the sharpness of it. Recheck that action. So on that action, if I need to, I can work to tighten up that detent to stiffen that up. There's a few things I can do there to. I might even do that before I put it back together. I'll just stretch this lock bar in a little bit. What I'll do is I'll look at the space right here, and that gives me a point of reference, and then maybe move that over 1/16 of an inch by bending it, and that should tighten up that detent. I think we'll do that before we put it back together. Get everything cleaned up. Do this other scale. Oh, look at the gunk on the back of that. It might be from that anodization on the back, because I noticed that's in there. It's got the retained pin. Yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit that they oil these up. I mean, they come apart so easy. I took apart a Civivi the other day. Had checked it in, and it was a little different putting it back together. It had a few different components trying to hold it together. But in the end, it wasn't overly complicated. And yeah, so this is what I was looking at here. See that on the back of that? See if I can feel that. I do feel that. Well, I think I'll put a drop of oil on it and then rub it and see if I can get it to come off. It's on the back, so the bearing doesn't ride on it. Yeah, it's not coming off, but I think I'm going to be satisfied with that. The bearing side's polished and shiny. So this one's got it too. I almost do think that it was part of the anodization process. Not sure. It's not something that I typically see on these little racetracks, these washers. This. So if I look at it, it's just inside of the frame. Maybe a 32nd of an inch. So I'm going to bend that out slightly. And of course, this is definitely one of those things that's less is more. You know, if you got to do it twice, it's better than overdoing it. So now I ate up that 32nd of an inch, and that lock bar is right at the edge of that frame. And it flexes back to that point. So I'm going to go with that and see how that manages our detent. All right, let's get it put back together. So pretty sure that goes in there. There we go. Let's get rid of this. Couple of drops of that. Probably put these pins in real quick. So backspacer. And then these two pins that were retained in here, I am going to put just the tiniest little bit of oil on that detent ball. That's it. So I think I'll put these back screws in a little bit first. Kind of hold that so that I can, as loose as that pivot screw was, I'm going to Loctite it. These snap free, so they're snugging up nice. So I'll just snug these up a little bit. That will hold all this, and then I can get some Loctite on this screw. I mean, I'd say I Loctite, probably 75% of these screws when I take them apart. But there's some that, I mean, they just snap fit well. They lock in good, and, there's tension on them. So obviously they don't need Loctite. But this one was flopping pretty loose, so it's not a big deal to put it on there. So I kind of snugged that. Let's check that action real quick. Man, there's no play there. There's no play up and down, side to side. Nice and snug. That detent is just the slightest little bit better. I think I'm gonna take it apart again, and I'm gonna put more tension on that. I'm this far already, so there's no sense in me locking all this up and considering it done with that detent being as weak as it is. It's hard for me to get a real assessment of a knife when it's got, a flaw. There's something wrong with it. So we're lined up at the end of the frame there. So I'm going to add about 1/16 of an inch gap in that. Like really take it out there, because we didn't gain much off of that first effort. So I'm going to make sure that we gain here. It's just kind of with that scale, it's difficult to get the right grip on this to do this. There we go. Yeah, so I might have gone a little too far there, because now I've got definitely 1/16 of an inch gap. And to get that back, I'd have to take that scale off. So I'm going to roll with that. Let's see where that gets us. I guess something too is that none of this really bothers me much because I'm not really permanently changing the dynamics of the knife. I don't think you'd want to, move, bend that lock bar back and forth, 20 times, but, a little bit here and then a little bit there, making 3, 4, 5 adjustments to it, isn't going to change the reliability or the integrity of the knife overall. Probably touch that Loctite just a little bit on there. Feels better. I mean, it's got a little more snappy action. Definitely can fail it. But it's better. Far from drop shut, but a quick snap and it go down. Let me finish tightening up these screws. Probably come out a little bit. Get these tight. I mean, I really tried to fail that. I think we might have tuned that in right. It's still the shut action, once you get over that hump there, it's not fall action, but I mean, I don't have any complaints with that. I will say that this, for me, that's man, you're digging in to get in there. So I don't think it's a problem with the knife, but that access is lacking a little bit. Let me check tightness here. Up, down. So I'm up, up and down, side to side. And then I check for play this way as well. Just to see, because, I mean, a little tension here could take all that out. And especially now that I've Loctited it, it would set all that in. So, really, I think I'm going to be able to really take a look at this now, but I want to check the sharpness of it. Got one final step. Make sure that it doesn't need a strop. I mean, I could strop that, but I'll be honest. Until I'm really wanting to do something with this blade, I think I'm just going to leave this one alone. It's pretty solid shape. All right, let's get a solid look at this thing. Clear out all this mess. Okay, TS36. So, a couple of final points on this knife, just to summarize. overall, it's got good ergonomics. Uh, Feels good in the hand. It's easy to get a strong grip. It's definitely going to get some time in my pocket. Um, this micarta is exceptional. I mean, man, I can't, I can't say it enough how much I really, really like this micarta on this knife. Very nice. Um, the pocket clip is super easy in and out of the pocket. Absolutely nothing needed there. Pretty deep carry. I mean, it's got just a little bit sticking up out of the pocket. So happy there. The action is pretty good. You know, now that I've tuned it a little bit, it's decent out for sure. I think, I can still very easily fail it. But with any effort on it, with this tab curled up like that, gives pretty good leverage. Doesn't take much to make that swing out and click in. The drop action, not so much. But you know what? Every knife doesn't got to be drop shutty. So a couple of needs. This access to the lock bar. It is difficult. There's a relief ground into that right there, but that's still a pretty good dig for me. I don't know that I have supersized hands, but that definitely, I got to dig in to get that. There's no jimping on the spine here. That would have been nice. Kind of a need, but it's nitpicky. And then probably the number one thing with this knife is that final inspection piece. Can it bite me here? And it cannot. There's no access there. But this right here, man, it doesn't take anything for me to touch that. So a hard grip there will slice me open. That's that TwoSun curse, man. It's no backspacer protecting your fingers from that blade, and that blade being too high in that knife. But without a doubt, you could get cut here. Now, the nice thing is that flipper tab, there's really no chance of coming off of this tab and slipping into that with force, because right there, with just the slightest pressure, I can feel that blade right there. Yep, right in there, I can feel that. And so, man, if for me, if my finger, and there's some TwoSuns that if my finger slips, I've cut myself hard on a couple of these. So I would say danger, danger on this particular model, because man, that thing can get you. Let me finish that point. The upside of this is because of that tab being turned that way, the chances of coming off of this with the rounded jimping are slim to none. And that's probably how it would get me. Getting in my pocket to get this knife, this is the upside. For me to reach down here and slide in there, not really going to happen for me. So, I mean, this knife's going to go in my pocket. I am absolutely going to give this some pocket time and work on it and spend some time running this action. But where it would have caused me danger is if I had the opportunity to slide off of this with some force, and my finger would go right in there. I mean, I can feel that. My fat finger is just sliding right in there. And especially once I work that blade, that would be sharp enough. I mean, I think it is now, that if I caught it good, it would cut me. But man, if I work that blade, this one would absolutely cut me. So, I mean, those are the 4 points that concern me about the knife, but it's not going to keep me from putting it in my pocket. I'm going to give that some pocket time. That's the TwoSun TS36. Nice knife. I like it, and I picked this up around $50 on eBay. I think it can be had in there for $50 to probably $70. Pretty sure White Mountain's around 90 without a discount code. So with a discount code, you're probably at about $80. With this color, I think it's 110. So you're probably right at about $100 on White Mountain. So $100 White Mountain, maybe on with a discount code, and then maybe let's say max $60 or $70 on eBay. So I like it. Thanks for watching.